afternoon. This recording is to demonstrate the workflow of Care 360 practice management in EHR. My name is Holly Rollins, and I will be acting as the nurse and provider in Care 360 EHR. Cynthia Heaton will provide a brief overview of the scheduling functionality in the practice management, begin the patient visit with Ruby Carter, and transition Ruby's visit to the nurse. After the nurse and the provider have completed the clinical visit in Care 360 EHR, we will return to Cynthia to detail the billing process and overview the collection tools and reporting functionality back in the practice management.
My name is Cynthia, and I will start with a quick overview of the user desktop. So each employee will have their login. You can see I'm logged in as Cynthia. The login gives your practice the ability to control permissions. So on the left-hand side, we give a list of all of the functions. So you have the ability to configure permissions as well as track audit trails. We document who did what and when. The desktop itself is divided into 4 quadrants. The whole goal of Care 360 PM is to automate manual processes and get your claims paid as quickly as possible. So let me just quickly talk about the Vitals dashboard. Cynthia is set up as a manager, so when I log in, I can quickly take a look at what the practice AR is. This is the total of patient and insurance balance due. And we also give you real-time information. So where it says charges, payments, and adjustments, you can see what's been posted today, month to date, year to date, how many appointments are on the schedule, patients currently in the office, and of those appointments, how many patients are new. So let's go ahead and put our scheduling hat on. So I'm going to come over and click on schedule, and it'll open up the menu and display options. Do you want to make an appointment? Do you want to check a patient in? Before we open up the schedule, I want to talk quickly about our eligibility solution. This is a great way to help reduce payment delays. So with eligibility, you have the option to do it in a batch mode or one patient at a time. So this is the menu for the batch mode. You just basically select which schedule date you want, and it'll take all the patients that are set up and go ahead and start doing eligibility. You can then come and quickly select eligibility status. It'll give you the results. You can go ahead and select the date you want to take a look at. It displays providers, the date, the patient, their insurance companies, and the actual results. What's nice is this gives you the ability to identify which ones failed, so your staff know up front when that patient presents. They can quickly ask them for an updated insurance card, and it also lets you know which patients have passed. Some insurance companies actually give you some help. They tell you, hey, there's an issue with the ID number, the patient's name, or a date of birth. So let's go ahead and open up the schedule. As we open that up, today we have provider Richard Anderson seeing patients. This is his schedule. We have Dr. Baker and Dr. Carter. Below that, you'll be able to see the actual appointments. And when you hover, it lets you know what type of appointment. So the teal is a follow-up. The red is a well visit. And these are all configurable specific to your practice. So let me walk you through banking an appointment. So what I can do is go ahead and select the patient. When you do patient lookup, you can do it by last name, you can do it by first name, you can do social security number, date of birth, or phone number. So I'm just going to enter CAR. I have Miss Ruby Carter calling in, wanting to make an appointment. I go ahead and submit the request, and it comes and it shows me all of the patients that met that filter. I can quickly come down, take a look at the patient. I can validate phone number, social security number, or date of birth. So we go ahead and select the patient. It comes up and it automatically shows you future appointments, easy way to let them know when their next appointment is, and it populates all of the patient information across the top. I can see their balance, the type of insurance they carry, their age, gender, no-shows, and insurance. We also, on the patient account, give your practice the ability to attach photos or scan in driver's licenses, as well as insurance cards, and link it right to the insurance carrier information. So let's go ahead and jump out of the account, and let's make an appointment. I can tell Ms. Ruby I have availability today at 11:30. I can go ahead and click on that appointment time. It asks me, Cynthia, what type of visit do we need? I can go ahead and see a list. Again, these would be specific to your practice. I can select the one I want. It knows how much time to block out. I can enter a reason for the visit, phone number to contact the patient in case I need anything. Then I have 5 comment lines to type in whatever additional information is needed. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and just save the appointment and ready to proceed with the next patient. So now what we're going to do is I'm now going to put my check-in hat on, and Miss Ruby is walking in for her appointment. So I'm going to come up and click on check-in out, and this screen puts your appointments in order by the appointment time. So you'll have all of your 9 o'clocks together and so on. You can easily see the patient's names, which patients have already checked in and their visit has started. Underneath status, we also have the results of appointment confirmations because no-shows cost our practice money, and so we have an appointment reminder that can either do a phone call to the patient, send an email, or a text, and this displays the actual results. Over to the right, we have what the reason is for the visit. So I'm at the check-in counter, and Ms. Ruby walks up, and I can come over and just select her appointment. What this does is it goes ahead and pulls up her appointment, and statistically, the best time to collect money is when the patient is in the office. So I can quickly come over and click Collect Payment. This will display the amount of the copay I need to collect from the patient. My patient is Medicare. And ROA lets me collect towards a prior balance. So I see quickly right here what the patient's balance is. So I can type in the amount I need to collect. I can then designate, is this a cash payment? Is this a check payment? Or is the patient paying by credit card? I can also enter the check number and then put a little remark in here as to what type of payment is this. Is this a payment towards their balance? Is this a copay? I go ahead and click Save. It documents the amount collected from the patient. I can check the patient in, print a receipt so the patient has their documentation. Once I'm done, I just click Save, and I'm ready to do the next patient. So now I'm going to turn the time over to Holly, and she can start the visit for Ruby Carter.
Nurse Holly has called Ruby back into the exam room, which has been documented by the front office. You can see it right here. I'll go ahead and click on Ruby's name and bring up her chart. From here, I'm going to go ahead and copy a prior note to use for this visit. I will take the encounter note from March 8th. It's a similar recent visit. From here, you can see that you can select any specific area that you would like to bring in to the current note, or you can deselect. I'll leave everything selected for today's visit. And go ahead and hit copy. Now we've started a clinical encounter note. And as you can see, this is a visit with a provider. Right here is where we can select a location. So if you have multiple locations, you can certainly go in there and switch to the applicable location. Also to point out here, this is using a hypertension follow-up visit the template has been selected. Again, this is copying forward from the previous note. So now I'm ready to have a dialogue with patient Ruby. And today, patient Ruby reports to me that she is coming in for a hospital follow-up visit for AFib and tachycardia. I will come in here and I will update this to reflect that. Using keyboard shortcuts, I'm able to simplify the amount of text that I'm typing in. I'll go ahead and save that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and collect Ruby's vitals. Today, Ruby is 66 inches. Her weight is 175 pounds. Temperature is 99.6, taken orally. Her blood pressure is 90/70, sitting and taken in her right arm. And her pulse is 60. As soon as I save this, it will automatically calculate Ruby's BMI as well. Next, as a nurse, I'm going to go ahead and review all current problems, history, allergies with Ruby. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to review these problems with Ruby. You can easily remove any if they are not applicable. You can put resolved and the date resolved. Select OK. Hit save. We'll move on to history, which has carried over from the previous note. As you can see here, past medical history, social history, and family history has been included. If you want to come in and review any specific part of the medical, social, family, or surgical history, you can do that. Additionally, you can make any notes that may be applicable as well. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and we can move on to allergies. As you can see, Ruby has reported a few allergies, but she says that she has never been allergic to bee stings. So again, we'll go ahead and remove that, mark it as erroneous. Save, and now it's time to review the medication list that the patient has brought with her. So as I'm speaking with the patient, she indicates that she was given Eliquis at the hospital. So I'm going to come into the active medications, and I'm going to add a reported medication. We'll go ahead and select Eliquis, the 2.5, 1, QD. And she said she started taking this April 18th. And we'll go ahead and save this. And I can put in here Denton Regional Medical Center and hit save. I will also leave the written paper of medications from the patient for the doctor to also review with Ruby. Now that it's ready, now that the patient is ready to see the provider, I'm going to change the patient flow to indicate that the patient is ready for the provider in exam room 1. So Dr. Rollins is ready to see the patient. He is coming in and he's going to see in the home screen that his patient, Ruby Carter, is ready for him in exam room 1. Go ahead and click on this. And we'll get started with the doctor visit. So as the doctor enters the room, again, the patient reports that she went to the ER with elevated blood pressure and pulse, was not feeling well, and was very dizzy. So I'm going to come into the subjective text and make notes. This has, again, copied over from the previous note, so I will definitely want to edit that. Again, using keyboard shortcuts that I've created, I am simply reducing the amount of text that I'm having to type. So again, patient reported that she went to the ER with elevated blood pressure and pulse, feeling very dizzy and ill. I'll save that. Next, as the doctor, I'm going to walk through the review of systems with the patient. Here in review of systems, the hypertension, engagement, and self-management has already been selected from the last visit. I can take a look at this and, kind of review low sodium diet, make sure that I am indicating any changes that have happened with this patient as well. Nothing has changed here, so I'll go ahead and continue on. I did notice that the patient had gained weight, and since this has been a continuing issue with her and her potassium, this is definitely something that I want to make note of. So here I'm going to put 2-pound weight gain. I also want to indicate that Ruby has slight swelling in her lower extremities. So we will do that as well. The doctor is ready to do his physical exam with Ruby. We're going to come in and we are going to make sure everything is still current in each system. Normal sinus rhythm has been indicated and checked for the day. That is already indicated in the notes. Next, the doctor is going to review the medication list that Ruby brought in. As the doctor is speaking with Ruby, she indicates that she has discontinued losartan because she felt badly. She also indicates that she needs a script refill for Synthroid. So we will come into the medication and complete this. As you can see, Synthroid is set up in my favorites. Once I click on that, I can select the dosage and we'll dispense 30. And we'll say, again, 1 per day. We'll save that, and that can be sent on with just a few clicks. Going back to the patient encounter note, again, Ruby had indicated that she discontinued a medication. So I can come in here and I will discontinue that medication. She said that she discontinued it because she did not feel well. So I will just go ahead and say she had an adverse reaction. We'll save that. Now it's time for the doctor to complete the objective text. I will come in here and again use some of the shortcuts that I have created. We'll say that patient has been complying with medications and care plans. She is in good condition today and reports feeling well. She has normal sinus rhythm. And we'll go ahead and again notate that she has swelling in her lower extremities. And to see the review of systems and physical exam as documented. And we will go ahead and save that. Next, as the doctor is still speaking with Ruby, he's going to go ahead and complete the care plan and the patient clinical instructions. So as we come here to plan of care, we can see that the notes indicate that we advise the patient to continue all current care instructions, medications, and report any new issues to the office. During my visit with Ruby, it was determined that we needed to decrease her toprol. So I will go ahead and notate that as well. And I also want her to increase her water intake and follow up in 2 weeks. I will come here and modify this to be 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks from the previous note. As I scroll down to the patient instructions, again, I'm going to indicate that we have decreased her toprol to 1 per day. So I'll put 1 QD. We are decreasing Ruby's toprol to 1 per day. And increasing her water intake. I'm also advising the patient to check for swelling daily. In future scheduled appointments, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to indicate that we will be seeing Ruby back in 2 weeks. At this time, I'm ready to review Ruby's diagnosis. I will come in, I will review her diagnoses, and I see that there is 1 missing. So I will go ahead and I will put that in here, and I will save that. Again, so now you can see all of Ruby's diagnoses, including the one that I added. As the doctor leaves the patient room, he tells Nurse Holly to get records from Denton Regional Medical Center on his way out. Also to order Ruby's standard lab panel and to make sure that we decrease the toprol to once per day. At this time, the doctor is ready to finalize and sign his note. Holly has returned, and from her home screen, she can see that Ruby Carter is still here. And per the provider's instructions, she is going to go in and make some adjustments. For one, she needs to go ahead and order this patient's lab panel, along with decreasing the toprol to once per day. So first, we'll come in and we will write the lab order. With just a couple of quick clicks, I can select Ruby's diagnosis, as well as any saved favorite tests that I have. I'm ready to order Ruby's test panel that the doctor has asked me to. I will select all here, and then we're ready to go ahead and finalize the order after we select today's date. So after I finalize the order, I am going to use the breadcrumb trail to return to Ruby's chart. At this time, I know that I need to decrease her toprol, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to reconcile her medications. And I can see that right now it's indicated at 1 twice a day. So we'll make sure to update this, 1 once a day. And then we will go ahead and notate on today's date, to 1 QD. This time we'll go ahead and save that. Next, the nurse is going to task the front desk to get the records from Denton Regional Medical Center. So I will come in here and under General Task, I will assign this to Mr. Colby Dix, and I will ask him to get this done by close of business. We'll save that. The nurse has now completed her visit with Ruby, provided her with a patient summary, and instructed her to call if there are any issues before her next scheduled appointment in 2 weeks. At this point, the front office will review the billing details and make necessary adjustments. As I pull up the billing details in the front office view, I can come in here under Established Patient and make sure that I have an extended visit checked, 99214. We'll go ahead and save this. After I've selected the Established Patient visit at a 99214, the front office will come in and go ahead and send to the practice management system. At this point, the person responsible for billing for your practice will now take over and complete the final billing submission.
Hi, this is Cynthia, and I am now going to put my billing hat on. So we go to the transaction menu, lets you know at the top, and we're going to go ahead and click on Unposted Procedures. So what this screen gives me are all the patients that are ready to be reviewed and billed out. You can easily see the patients, the provider seen, dates of service, as well as CPT and diagnosis code. So we are going to take a look at Miss Ruby Carter, and she's down here at the bottom. On the left-hand side, I want to point out the color-coded icons. This is a code scrubber, and red is stop, there are coding problems. Green is go, there are no coding issues. And yellow is just caution, you may want to review it for a potential coding item. So let's go ahead and select Ruby Carter, and it opens up everything selected by the provider. I can easily see the provider that saw the patient, the location they were seen at. We have a checks and balance against your schedule, which is a super bill number. So if you had 30 patients on the schedule, we are making sure that 30 patients are billed out. On the right-hand side are all of the diagnosis codes documented during the visit, and you can have up to 12 diagnosis codes per encounter. Then we drop down, and it easily shows you the date of service, the procedure code, description, the linking to the modifiers, and your dollar amount. What I'll do now is just for example, I'm going to go ahead and add another one so I can show you how the coding tool works. So from here, I go ahead and just click Check Codes. This takes all the information and quickly runs it through your regional CCI edits. The results include gender edits, age edits. It sequences by RVU, so this makes sure that you're getting your maximum reimbursement. And we're looking for anything that has a red. Red means stop. So it's telling me here, hey, you need a modifier. To the right, I see an M. Pretend I don't know what the M or the modifier options are. I can click on it. It will open up my knowledge source, and then it'll give me my options. It'll say, Cynthia, professional modifiers appropriate for your 99214. I can use a 24, a 25, a 57, and it gives me the details of each one. So I can quickly say, great, I need a 25. I can go ahead and put a 25, check codes, and that edit goes away. As we move across, these are all of the CCI edits. I don't have any potential CCI issues. My diagnosis codes are all valid. And as I move over to LCD, we have some red buttons. And what this means is the diagnosis codes selected do not support this procedure code. So the coding tool goes down to the granular level if there are any specific rules between relationships on your CPT and your diagnosis codes. It also catches those before the claim is even sent to the insurance company. So we are going to pretend that all edits have been completed, and I'll go ahead and continue. It posts the payment for me, and I am now ready to move on to the next patient. Okay, so our next step in the billing process is to actually submit the claims to the insurance company. So I'm going to put my billing hat on. It opens up the menu. I quickly come down and click on Insurance. Create picks up all of the claims ready to be sent to the insurance company. Status tells me when it's done. If you have carriers that still require a paper form, I can go ahead and come in and click Print My Insurance Forms. The majority of our claims are sent electronic, so we just quickly jump down to the electronic bucket. We have a second layer of edits that looks at your payer-specific edits. If everything looks good, you just click on Prepare Send, and it automatically uploads the claims to the clearinghouse. Our clearinghouse is eMedics, and eMedics is a nationally preferred clearinghouse that works with all the large carriers, with MDON, Medicare, Blue Cross, and they give us direct access to their user portal. So there is complete transparency between your claims and what is going on at the clearinghouse. So I am now in eMedics. eMedics handles our claims. They are also the gatekeeper for our remits, which are electronic EOBs. And they also take the manual process out of our office, and they generate the electronic patient statements as well as electronic collection letters. So let's jump back to claims, and let's just see how easy their portal is. I come down and click on Claims Console. I then have the ability to quickly identify my date range. I can look at claims sent yesterday, claims sent today, the last full week, or pick my own date range. So some of the stats they provide is as you move down, if we just had yesterday here, it would tell us the total amount of claims submitted yesterday. So an example, if we submitted 50 claims yesterday for $5,000, it would show those stats here. And then as it moves through the various buckets, they move down to transmitted. How many were sent to Aetna? How many claims were sent to Blue Cross? Then they jump down to acknowledged. Cigna acknowledged this many claims. And then it jumps down and says, Humana accepted these claims. Any that are rejected by the insurance companies will be moved into the rejected, not worked. And these are the only ones your billing team have to pull up, review, correct, and resubmit. Okay, so we're done submitting our claims. Our next step is we now receive payments. So I'm going to go ahead and come back to the transaction menu. Payments come to your office in one of two ways. You can sign up and take advantage of the electronic EOBs, and those are automatically imported into the system, and the system posts them for you The other one are payments that are sent via mail to your office. An example, Ruby Carter sends in a $25 payment towards her balance. We're now quickly going to take a look at collection tools. So every day, patients are seen on this schedule, the visits are charted, claims are sent out, payments are posted, and now we have your accounts receivable. So the collection tools generate electronic work lists, so your staff do not have to work paper reports. We split them into two different buckets. So we have your patient collections. This is where you can track payment plans. You can designate how many statements a patient receives. You can also do a collection letter campaign. On the right, we have the insurance collections. And this is where you have the ability to aggressively work on paid balances. You can come in and filter by denials. These are payment denials. Or you can also set up payment windows. Blue Cross pays within 10 days. So if the claim isn't paid, it pops up for your AR reps to work. Humana pays within 15 days. So these are all various windows that are categorized by payer. So you can go ahead and select up which status you want. You can quickly come down, identify which group you want. Do you want to work primary, secondary, or tertiary? So you have the various filters. I go ahead and click Save, and it pops up the work list. So this is where your staff can come in, go ahead and select a patient. It'll provide your Blue Cross details, the unpaid line items, and this is where they can easily call and check claim status. We're then going to wrap up with reporting. So I'm going to come over and click on Reports. There are over 500 standard reports within our Care 360 PM, and they're all put into various buckets. So in examples, we come over to statistical. If a provider wants a list of patients that had a certain procedure or service done, you can easily come over, select one sort. Do you want it by insurance company, for the whole corporation, by date of service, by doctor? Enter the procedure codes, select your date range. Same thing with diagnosis codes. We need a list of patients that have diabetes. You can then come in and do your sorts as well. Let's go ahead, and we just finished talking about the collection tools. So let's take a look at an accounts receivable by insurance. I'm going to jump over to insurance, and we're looking at the aged accounts by insurance. I want it for the whole corporation. It asks me, do you want a specific plan or do I want all plans? So I leave it blank for all. Do I want to just look at primary carriers, secondary, or tertiary? So let's just go ahead and take a look at primary, as those are our money makers. Do I want details? Balance is older than, balance is greater than. I go ahead and click Save. I have the option to export it to Excel. I can throw the information out to Word. I can print it to my screen. Or we give each user a My Reports inbox. So this is their own report inbox where they can put reports in there, and they will sit there until the user is ready to review them. So I select My Reports and click Print. It takes me back to the menu. It lets me know my report is done compiling. I quickly come over to My Reports, open up my inbox, and it shows me my list that are ready to be reviewed. So I can come down, and this is the one that you and I just ran. I go ahead and click on it, and it opens up my aging. So it lets me know, Cynthia, these are the primary carriers. Shows me Aetna, the total amount due, and it ages it for me, current through 150 days. You also have the ability to color your different headers and details. So it's easy to read how you want to display the information. I want to quickly take a look at Blue Cross, as this is the highest one. It then shows me the carriers we are billing. I can go ahead and select the one I want. It gives me the details. If I click on corporation, it then shows me all of the patients that have unpaid claims that were billed to this insurance company. So this is an example of an accounts receivable report. And that is the end of the billing piece.
This now concludes the workflow demonstration of our Care 360 EHR and practice management solutions.